Yeah, it's just sad because it seems like Shawty ain't gonna get no justice, not gonna be no justice to the people who love and care for her.
Welcome back to another video, man. Hope your day is going good. And in today's video, David K. Skit Sadder video by Maury. Gonna find out they finally get enough evidence. We all know he did it.
And last I heard of, they were saying he wasn't found as a suspect. Guess we're gonna find out.
I media trained you. That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Sounds like you were doing illicit activities you shouldn't have been doing.
Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
The girl with my name tattooed on her chest.
You want to know the crazy thing about this story to this day? It's still mind-blowing to me that this guy has not been charged or arrested or anything. Apprehended.
Oh man, yo. Months later we revisiting this and he's not been arrested?
Yeah, crazy.
Oh my God.
Incarcerated, nothing as far as I can tell. Now, I've not talked about the situation in weeks. As far as I can see, a lot of the updates have been kind of slower, although there were updates regarding the private investigator that I talked about the last time, finding something related to opioids in the residence that David and Celeste,
Which proves my theory.
we're staying in. I just gotta say, it's still shocking to me that somehow this was streamed on Twitch, right? Streaming on Twitch, I believe sometime in 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong. And as you can see, Celeste was here streaming with him. She had her hoodie on, her glasses on, they were doing their thing, right? And then she proceeds to say, well, he proceeds to say, I media trained you. That's controversial. And then she proceeds to say,
It's controversial of kids.
but yeah, guys,
Twitch. You gotta say. It's clear this shit happened on your platform, bruh.
Yeah.
All these things were said on your platform.
she said while he was streaming on Twitch's own platform, it's controversial beeping kids. And somehow, some way, this man's Twitch page is still up on this platform to this day. Literally verified, bro. Literally verified. Like, I just gotta say, if this were anybody else.
Look for his mom. Is his mom still around? Where's his dad? Find out if he has any living relatives. He might have got rid of everybody. He might have cleared the whole board.
That is
For him
true.
to be skating like this, he
Yeah.
might have said, fuck all my family attachments. You know what I'm saying? So now he's moving through this world untethered. Ain't nothing can hold him down now.
That is true, because we ain't hear none of his family come out and say anything.
That's crazy.
Especially me, I would have been banned a long time ago, let's be honest. I've been targeted by these social media platforms for a while now, especially with YouTube. They're just always on my ass. But as you can see here, his clips are still here, available to this day. Like, look at this shit. Man's VODs are still available for playback on Twitch's own platform after all this time, bro. After all the drama, the news stories, the basically evidence of what he's likely wrapped up in. A lot of times when people are wrapped up in criminal investigations like this, I'm not gonna lie, especially if there's overwhelming evidence that they may have potentially committed a crime. Why is Pokimane here? Who the yo, this shit is crazy. Is this Cat's Eye? I think that's the group. But like, a lot of times when guys are wrapped up, or women, or people in general, it's not gender-based, in criminal investigations like this, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram will take the liberty, especially TikTok, will actually take the liberty of banning their social media platforms. So this just lets you know that the game is rigged. This is not an even playing field, a level playing field, bro. Everything is rigged, it's nepotism, it's cherry picking, double standards. As you can see, a lot of my content has been being removed nowadays off of technicalities. I'm getting like community guideline warnings and all this shit, and it's just like, bro, you will have somebody like an Asmongold or a Penguins Zero upload bar for bar the same video with less censoring than I do, and their video gets to stay up while mine gets shut down, removed, and strike for literally the same thing. So that's why, guys, I implore everybody, like, I actually want everybody to go over to my Instagram page right now. Maury HQ is on Instagram. Just to let you guys know, I am running a $100 giveaway to 3 individuals for this month before Thanksgiving. I do want to give it back to the
Make your money, gang. Out of here, gang. Man.
Boy, get them giveaway for the holiday.
Boy, I'm trying to get them AirPods, boy. Them shit look good, boy.
His follower count has back down to under 2 million. It was above 2 million at one point in time, but as you can see, given the situation that this man's in, it's going to be steadily stable at 1.9 to 2 million to maybe 2.1. And you know, we have plenty of articles saying that farm tools and pain medicines or opioids were found at the residence, the former residence that David was staying in. So they think that this may be linked to the death of Celeste. And you know, according to an exclusive interview that Law and Crime Network, shout out to them on YouTube, that they had with the private investigator on this case, they say at this point they likely know who the individual was that actually moved the Tesla truck while Celeste's body was still in the front trunk of the vehicle, among many other things, of course.
You know, it was reported right at the beginning that one of the ways that an ID was done, or they thought that Celeste was the person in that trunk, is because another outlet had a conversation with the mother, and she said that she knew of a boyfriend named David. And there's also been images that have come forward on Reddit that show David in Lake Elsinore doing some sort of transaction with a kid. And then we have the teacher, somebody recording the teacher speaking about this, that Celeste was in his class and she had run away, and then she was picked up in the Hollywood Hills and brought back and ran away again. I think that there's a strong possibility they knew, and it's important to realize that she was in, I think, 7th grade, maybe 8th, but I mean, this is a very young child, and you can't just let them drop out of school at 7th.
Yeah, so a lot of those details of which he just went over, I have this on like 1.5x speed, just, you know, so we can get through some of the old details we already know. I mean, there were multiple individuals participating in this case who probably had partial detail or was privy to information that they should have alerted the law enforcement to. So basically, the mom knew that her 13-year-old child had a boyfriend named David. Why wouldn't she press that situation knowing that she also ran away multiple times? The teacher was aware that she was being picked up by some guy in front of her school. Pretty sure her friends were aware of that as well. The school themselves knew that she wasn't showing up to school, right? And if you miss days of school, your attendance is lacking, the school should automatically notify the parents. And I'm pretty sure they probably did, of which the mom, what did she decide to do? You know, so there's a lot of people in this situation who literally failed Celeste. And they continue to fail vulnerable children every day in situations like this.
You know, you were hired, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, to investigate
And I
by
thought
the owner of the
Paris
home
was supposed to
where
go
David
to
was living.
jail.
So are there any
if
new
their
details
kid
that you've been able
wasn't showing up
to
school.
glean from
Oh,
your
really?
investigation
That was a myth.
as to what may have been going on in this home?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, one thing I want to be clear about is, you know, I do have a scope on my, you know, investigation. In other words, I'm not going outside of things that originated at the house or things that happened with the cars that were normally parked at the house. So I'm not going out and trying to solve this case. I'm not working side by side with the LAPD or stepping on their investigation. It's all contained to the owner wants to know what happened or didn't happen at his house, because he had no idea that David was even living there, because he wasn't on police, and much less Celeste. So in that investigation, I'll tell you, there was a lot of things that were left behind, even though after the search warrant, David, I guess through his management, did send movers to come move stuff out, but they left a lot of stuff behind. And then they gave over possession of the house. So, you know, we went through those things, and there was a lot of evidence that shows who had been there a lot. And then we also collected some surveillance from neighboring houses that showed vehicles coming and going and vehicles that were parked there for extended periods of time. And we've been able to, you know, in talking with neighbors, what they saw. And also that community has their own private armed security company that is 24/7. And, you know, I've talked to them about what they've seen and noticed and any reports that they had. And there was only one written report for a noise complaint, but they're still familiar with the area and who comes and goes and what vehicles are normal to the area and what aren't.
And basically during this part of the interview, because I did kind of watch the video myself beforehand, he basically goes on the yap about how certain information and details he can't yet reveal because he doesn't want to step on law enforcement's toes, right? So formality, right? He doesn't want to get in the way of the investigation that is happening outside of the house, and his concern is not outside of the house. He's just gathered details and clues as to what had happened in that house because he's hired by the landlord who owns that property. But in my opinion, to cut to the chase, here's the most important part of that interview that I think you guys should hear. I think this part is very important.
I think she has been deceased a lot longer than what you know, people may have originally thought. It could go back as early as January or February, which is hard to fathom.
That's crazy, right? So it seems as though that the deceased date, the official date of death for this young girl, has been all over the place. And now this private investigator is now believing that she may have been dead all the way back in January, February of this year. And honestly, to me, you know, I've heard conflicting reports. I've heard some people say she may have died back in July, August, maybe September. And now this private investigator, because he's privy to a lot of information that obviously we don't know. he has access to the actual property that she stayed in, and he found farm tools. He found opioid bottles, of which many articles
This
have
is just
reported on.
crazy
I'm getting
to
the
me.
feeling that he believes
This is just crazy to me because it's like,
Yeah.
she may have overdosed. Somebody may have slipped something into her drink, or maybe she may have taken something. We don't know if this overdose, speculatively, was intentional or not. But of course, anybody dying, a minor that is, dying in the presence of a home leased out by David's manager. Apparently, the lease wasn't even in David's name, which is why, based off of what I heard, the landlord or the owner of the property wasn't even aware that the singer David was even staying there. So I mean, this entire situation is just really spooky and crazy.
Investigator Steve Fisher recently went inside the Hollywood Hills mansion where David lived just before the body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found in his abandoned Tesla.
They were disturbing
Manager
items.
had
And Fisher told KTLA he found items that could be linked to the crime, items left behind by LAPD even after a search of the property.
There's some items, some physical items that I unfortunately can't disclose, but they are significant because they could be something that could have been used in a plan to actually get rid of her body.
Fisher also says he's uncovered interesting video from neighborhood security cameras that he's handed over to LAPD. He says he knows who was driving the car when it was abandoned in late July, presumably with the body in the trunk.
I'm certain I know who it is. I can't say, but there is surveillance from the 29th, and I'm certain I know who this person is.
That is crazy. Whoever that person is, they're fucked. I can't even say cooked. They're literally fucked. Because obviously, and I'm going to leave room for doubt, right? For the possibility that the person, whoever moved this vehicle while Celeste may have possibly been in the front trunk, he may or she may have not known that there was a dead body in the vehicle. But I highly doubt that. Let's be honest there. Occam's razor suggests that the most likely outcome, the most predictable outcome is the most likely outcome of the situation, all right? I'm just gonna say whoever moved the vehicle, especially with a smell that may have been emanating from that vehicle, possibly. I'm not entirely sure how Teslas are constructed in the interior to prevent smells from the trunk from being transported to the interior of the vehicle. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm gonna plead ignorance on that, but I highly doubt that whoever moved that vehicle wasn't aware of the potential crime that they were getting themselves wrapped up in.
Initial autopsy showed no obvious cause of death. Investigators now are waiting for toxicology reports. It's been almost 7 weeks since Celeste's body was found. No arrest and no suspects. David, real name David Anthony Burke, has not commented, but he did cancel his world tour, and he has not been seen in public since then.
It's been shocking how silent he's been for somebody that really lived online, and not only him, but the people around him in his immediate orbit. They've gone completely silent.
It's just crazy to me how this man has not made one statement coming out to defend himself at all. Like, hey, maybe a post saying I didn't kill her. Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe his lawyers obviously are advising him not to do that because they would just be flooded with, hey, well, you were with her. Look at all these images, these videos. We know you were with her illegally. So even if you didn't kill her and it was some kind of unfortunate accident, overdose, or somebody in your camp murdered her, I mean, all the evidence that is overwhelmingly showing you potentially having a very explicit and illegal relationship with this minor would just make his case look horrible. I mean, it's already out there, but it would just, at this point, I think it's futile.
But you know who moved the car, right? You're the one,
Yeah.
Yeah, we already said that he did the right thing by being silent, bro, because that leaves the question of if he did or didn't do it. Of course, if he didn't do it, he wanna keep his innocence. But if he did, he don't want to further incriminate us. He did the right thing on that.
Figure you have the video. You know who moved the car. So that's a big clue right there. Are you willing to share with us yet who moved the car?
And sure who it wasn't. And the thing about that is, though I 95% feel
Matt the IT guy 033 says, how's it going, gang?
What's good with you, Maddie? We reacting to this David situation right now, bro.
was moved. I can't prove that because there's no video that I have LAPD might have, a video of her being put in the vehicle. I can't even put her at the house. So I can't share, I don't want to share that is because I do think that would really step on LAPD's toes. And that's not the intention here. It's not to put the information out first. What it was is to find out what's going on in the house and letting people know that we do know some information. So if you wanted to contact me, and people have contacted me, and I'll tell you, there's an incredible, and this is what I wonder about LAPD. They're very capable, but it's a whole different era as far as everything's happening on Discord and everything, and the capability for them to really go through and scrape everything out of there. I know that they're getting it directly from Discord in a database form, but it's all, everybody uses handles and fake names and stuff, and to figure out who's who. It takes a while to really map this whole thing together, and so maybe that's part of the delay. But there was an incredible amount of information in the Discord server alone.
Because of all the the fake names, the pseudonyms people online use in place of their real names. Nobody's gonna come out and say their real name online, so we have a whole bunch of pseudonyms, like my name Maury online, or somebody's other pseudonym maybe Bubbles123 or Candy Cane, whatever. Everybody's free to pick and choose their own names that they want to use online, so it may be more difficult to track messages or communications coming from specific accounts with these pseudonyms. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know, what do you think about this entire situation? As stated before, I personally can't wait to see this man in court. Like literally, I think California allows cameras inside courtrooms, so this is gonna be one hell of a trial. I need to, as sick as this sounds, I'm so goddamn curious as to what the hell happened in that house. It's like morbid curiosity at this point. Like I want to hear statements from the mom, from the teachers. Mind you, this is going to be one of the biggest cases of our generation. I want to hear from the mom, the teachers, the friends, David's manager, David himself. I want to hear from everybody. I want to know how many people knew about this relationship, how many people didn't speak up. I'm pretty sure there's going to be Twitch streamers up in there. You may have a Jason the Ween or a Cat's Eye or whoever else may have collaborated with this man, and knowing he had a girlfriend that didn't look up to par. This is going to be crazy. But thoughts and opinions down below. Sorry, my voice was a little dry, is a little dry. I do need to get some water. Also follow me on Instagram if you want to send me any other
yeah, man. Shout out boy Maury. T-Raw.
Yeah, it's just sad because it seems like Shawty ain't gonna get no justice, not gonna be no justice to the people who love and care for her. And, it's just sad in general, bro. But, I don't know. I don't really have too much else to say, bro. I just hope they find out who did it. I hope she get justice.
Yeah, made it to the end of the video. Love y'all. Great for y'all, man. You already know, binge rest of videos on the channel. Catch y'all in the next one. Yeah.